Hello everybody, welcome back to Car Mechanics Simulator. As you can see, we have one car in the shop already this morning, and if we take a step outside, I've already got three more lined up as well. That is going to be our last car for the day. That is our next story car. So without further ado, let's jump right on into things and get cracking on them. So we have the 1969 Pontiac GTO in here, and they say the customer complaint is that the car is hard to control. They want the leaf spring plate and the sway bar front end link be checked. So we're going to go ahead, get this car up in the air. We don't need to open the hood for anything on this one, so we can just go straight up with it. And let's take a look on into it here. So we have this sway bar front end link that we need to remove. And right here we have this leaf spring plate. We'll get the U-bolts out of the way and then pull the plate. And because we already have them off, we're just going to pick up new leaf springs to make the plate a little sturdier. So we need a plate, two U-bolts, they're pretty cheap anyways, and our sway bar link. Then we can go ahead, get them thrown back in. This car could really use a lot of other work, but all they are wanting today is just these few items. So we'll get these thrown in here. And voila. Perfect. So we can kick this one right back out the door. Take a look. $56 to do that. It's a pretty cheap job. Alright, next up on the list, we have a 2017 Ford Mustang. Customers just want all of their fluids, the brake fluid, the coolant, power steering fluid, and washer fluid all drained and refilled. So let's get right into it. Start getting these things drained. Coolant, get the washer fluid, power steering, and brake fluid. Now we'll go ahead, let's get coolant filled. Nice fresh coolant. That old stuff, oof, definitely seen better days. Alright, onto our washer fluid. Pretty simple, easy on this car. And finally, we get our brake fluid filled up, And then this customer is good to go. Perfect. And a nice $200. Pretty easy 200 bucks. All right, moving on. We got a 1992 Katagiri Tamago. Wow, interesting. All right, they just want fluids topped off. No draining necessary. So we'll get this one done, and we'll see what other jobs we have coming in. We might be able to sneak in another job or two before our main job of the day. Get our power steering. Oh, wow, is that low? Coolant was also extremely low. People must not like to check their fluids too often. Oh my goodness, this brake fluid is almost bone dry. Goodness. Perfect. And $105 on that job. Let's see what else we got. So we got brake problems on a 1970 Smith & Parker Arizona Kid supercharged. And we have a 98 Dodge Viper with other tasks. So let's go ahead. We are going to accept both of these. Let's take a peek here at the Viper refill brake fluid. Now that is super simple, quick, and easy. Probably not going to get much. $25. Almost wasn't worth doing. Alright, we have a 1973 Smith & Parker Outlaw. Other tasks list provided. I'm assuming another fluid fill, refill coolant. Where are we at here? Okay, we need engine bay. There we go. Well, if we can fit in a whole bunch of these little jobs like this where we make 20, 30, 40 bucks, adds up in a day, gets us a bunch of satisfied customers to come back whenever they get bigger repairs. Another $25. What else do we have here? Another Viper, a 2000. Other tasks. So most likely another fluid fill. Let's take a peek. Brake fluid, coolant, and power steering. We've got far too many of these ridiculously small tasks coming in. That is the unfortunate thing of us being new to the area. I don't think too many people are trusting us quite yet, but with some time we can hopefully change that around and get more large repair jobs coming our way. Now, I definitely will not complain too much about these small jobs. It is business regardless of the job size, but we need better cash flow than $25. Anyhow, they are done, good to go. 78 bucks. Get them on the road. Alright, let's go ahead. Let's get this guy inside and figure out what we got going on the brakes. Let's take a peek here. So we have 2 calipers, a drum, a shoe, and a brake cylinder. So we don't need to be under the hood for anything on this guy. Let's get him raised up in the air and see which ones we are working with here. So it's looking like the front 2. So we got the front 2 calipers and that whole drum back there. Perfect. All the issues on the brake drum side are in one spot, so we don't have to jump around. So we'll get that tire off. Get this guy off. Perfect. Now we'll tear in back here. Ooh, this one has some rusty bolts. Have to spray them with our DW04. And yes, that is actually what they have on the can in this game. That is quite interesting. It kind of made me chuckle the first time I noticed it. Perfect. Let's go to our inventory. So we need a drum brake cylinder, a brake shoe, a brake drum, 2 caliper pistons, and 2 calipers. Let's go ahead, jump on the computer here. That. There's our drum. Get 2 of these and 2 of them. We get our list cleared for the next job, and back together we go. Get our cylinder, shoes, and drum. Perfect. Oh, wait. I'll make sure I put the right rim on here. I need the 18-inch, not the 14. There we go. Now we will combine caliper and piston, or cylinder, whichever. And get this last one on. We'll see if we have any other quick jobs that people are wanting to bring in that we could sneak in quick. Let's go ahead. We're going to clear out our inventory quick. Finish setting this down. $320, that is way better than 25. These are both just other tasks. So we're going to go ahead and get our big job in here and see what we can make happen on it. And to the lift. Alright, let's get the hood popped. Get her right up off the ground and see what we're dealing with on this one here. So we have a 2015 Griffin Tyro. This is basically a Mini Cooper. My name is Joanna. I was referred here by my neighbor. He's a car dealer. I hear that your repair shop has been up and running since quite recently, but you look like a promising mechanic. It is almost annual service time. My, quote, buddy doesn't seem to have any problems, but I'll leave that for you to decide. Please change the oil, filters, fill the missing fluids. I haven't had time for that recently. John mentioned that there was a tapping in the camshaft. I don't know what he meant. Perhaps it'll make more sense to you. Please take care of my car. Have a good day. So we have quite a list of parts. So let's start off. We're going to mark everything in the engine bay. And then they want an oil change, changing the brake fluid, changing the coolant, change the power steering, and refill washer fluid. So let's start out. Let's get these things drained. Perfect. Now, let's see here. So we need to pull off this idler so that way we can get the belt and the crankshaft pulley. So we need into this timing cover. Oh, we have some rusty parts in here. Belt tensioner, idler. I need the belt first, then the idler, then the cam gear. Okay, now we need to pull these coils out because we need the valve cover off the engine. And then we need the secondary timing cover off. And the cam gear. Okay, we don't need to take the chain. Alright. So it looks like we need a plug. And we're just going to pull them all because they all look a little rough. Perfect. Now let's get these camshaft caps off. Or cam bearings. Okay, I believe that is everything up here. So let's go ahead, let's pick these parts up. So we need 4 spark plugs. We need an ignition coil, that one's pretty bad. Cam gear, idler, serpentine belt, tensioner. So let's get our cam gear, our idler, serpentine belt, and tensioner. Then our electronics shop, we get our 4 plugs and our ignition coil. Perfect. Let's get these items put back in. And we forgot to pull our cam. Goodness. There we go. Alright, let's add that to our shopping list. And go back to our parts. There we go. Now we're set. Alright, let's get these spark plugs in here. Perfect. We'll get the camshaft back in. And get all the cam bearings on. Perfect. We'll go ahead and throw the valve cover back on. Alright, and this is where it wants the brand new coil. Now we'll get our other 3 back in. Okay. Get the secondary cam gear on, as well as the secondary timing cover. Okay. Now let's get our main cam gear in. Get our idler on. Belt and our new tensioner. Throw the cover back on. Perfect. Now we can get our crank pulley on. And our secondary belt. And our idler. Okay, let's take a look at our to-do list. Good there. Perfect. So we got all of those items done. Now we need all new pads and front rotors. Okay. And then it wants the back 2 and those 2 rubber bushings. Perfect. Let's take a look. Are we missing anything? And it does not appear so. So let's get rid of everything. I always forget that I can do it that way and make life so much simpler. Alright, let's get this up. First thing we're going to do is we are going to drain the oil. So that way that is out of the way. Pull this oil filter. Alright. Caliper out of the way. Okay. that is everything up front. Now we just need the pads off of the back. And then we need this bushing on each side. Perfect. The last set of brakes and the last bushing that we need. Alright, to our inventory. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 bushings, 4 brake pads, and then we need 2 ventilated brake discs. So slotted rotors, basically. Our bushings, our pads, and our rotors. Perfect. Now let's get this thing back together. And then we'll get our oil filter, since I just realized I forgot that. Let's actually get that oil filter right now. 14. Perfect. Let's get this guy thrown in. And then at the end, we'll go up top and fill all of our fluids at once to finish off this car. Then it will be good to go back to the customer. Get our front bushing in. Let's get the bushing in here before we get the tire on. Okay. Perfect. Now we'll just look. We should have everything done. And then we just gotta fill up our fluids. And this car is good to go. Let's go ahead, get rid of all these parts that we do not need. Okay, let's get our oil filled up. Okay, there's that. Now for some coolant. Perfect. Washer fluid. I swear every single car that comes into this shop needs some fluid added. In this case, it happens to be everything. Power steering. And lastly, our brake fluid. And then this car is ready to rock. Perfect. That should finish off this car. A nice $2,200 for that. And we advanced to level 3. So, that being said, we have our Eagle Eye, our Strong Arms, Fast Hands, Renovator, or Runner. Let's go with Strong Arms. And then, to help us with our parts, we are going to buy a tablet. Then we're going to buy our OBD scanner, our fuel pressure meter, our multimeter, compression tester, which will be very handy, tread gauge, and a battery charger. Perfect. So here is our battery charger. That should be all that is out and about. And then now, when we go on to a car, we will have more jobs or more tasks that we can do. Well, let's open our case and see what we can get. 70 bonus XP and a bonus case. Perfect. 120 bucks and a bonus 26. Perfect. Alrighty. Well, that is going to do it for today. We are going to close up shop, and we'll see y'all back here in the morning. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next time.